Yo, what's up guys, I'm back and I'm here to recommend you 3 new mangas. I've done this before with Blue Lock and it seems to have really taken with the community. I've done this before with Kaiju number 8, which has recently been announced for an anime, so I really hope you guys take these recommendations and go read them. The first one is going to be called The Rakudo Round, I hope I said that right, Sakamoto Days, and Dan Da Dan. What I usually do is just give the synopsis of these mangas and talk about why I love them and why I think they'll become very popular later on if they get animated. Without a shadow of a doubt, without further ado, let's begin this. This manga is still very fresh and I'm only a few chapters in, but it really drew me in within the first, I'll say, 5 chapters. In a world where humanity has escaped underground, and to survive, our main character N is a really broke ass kid who just goes through piles and piles of rubbish and comes from the slums. He usually just goes there to eat something or to find body modifications from the losers. The losers coming from the Battle of the Six Realms, which is basically an in-universe tournament where people just, you know, beef each other for whatever. One day he discovers this nice piece of, you know, cybernetics body modifications. He decides to take it with him. When going through the slums, he encounters these big bad, you know, bullies, and they actually take the body they try to take the body modifications off him, and mysteriously gets away with it through some weird mishaps of the universe. But it seems like someone's been watching him from the background. Moving on, N graduates and has no one to graduate with. All his friends don't love him and he has no parents. It's literally the shot-for-shot remake of the Naruto The Swing. It's actually quite hilarious. It's not hilarious, it's pretty sad. Anyway, his teacher, who N has seen as a bit of a figure in his life, decides to take him into this room where they can celebrate together, but it turns out to be a trap. Got him! For his gruesome experimentations, which is kind of sad because he basically says to him, no one will miss you when you're gone, and discovers that he actually has a body modification. In his entire arms and legs are body modifications, and he releases this weird electric power. Having a fight with the teacher, he gets his ass brutally beat because he's not used to this new power that's within him. But the mysterious figure that's been following him around and talking to him turns out to be the champion of the Battle of the Six Realms. Because of his sudden appearance, everybody comes down to the slums. Everybody is around trash and dirt just to celebrate with the champion. And seeing this, discovers that maybe even if he's from the slums, he can still become someone great. People will still love him no matter where he's from. And with this, his path will take a different route. One even more gruesome, some would say. The premise of it is quite interesting, but what drew me in basically was the body modifications. It's not your classic, you know, one part is just metal, one part is human. It's actually a mixture of both. The entire body or arm or leg gets weirdly disfigured, and it looks really cool and a good concept for body modifications that I have never seen before. I haven't seen this type of art style on the body, so it's really good. I enjoy it, and so far it's been really keeping my attention. If you love John Wick and you love The Way of the House Husband, then you're gonna love this. This is called Sakamoto Days, and it's about a retired hitman who's the ultimate assassin, feared by his villains and admired by his compatriots. He decides to hang it all up because he fell in love. Chose retirement and marriage. Fatherhood came around and he lost that, you know, Chad bod and got a dad bod. He chose the quiet life and decided to open a store in his neighborhood, becoming the well-renowned Mr. Sakamoto. But one day his old subordinate comes back to him. He was tasked to kill Mr. Sakamoto. Being Mr. Sakamoto, he actually takes him out in amazing fashion. You immediately fall in love with him because of this. Failing in his mission, his subordinate decides to go back to his superiors, and obviously that didn't go down so well. Fearing this, Mr. Sakamoto actually saves his subordinate and takes out everyone. The art style is incredible. The motions of the hands in freeze framing it is pretty fucking cool. Mr. Sakamoto takes him on and he becomes a customer assistant, and they both decide to run the store together. If you want a nice blend of action and comedy, this is the manga for you. It is very funny and the action just works surprisingly well. I didn't think I was gonna like this as much as I did because of how OP Mr. Sakamoto is why I love this manga. It's just funny and it has a great balance of both worlds. Now for my final recommendation, Dan Da Dan. It sounds like I'm getting it wrong, but its actual name is Dan Da Dan. It's very unique. Momo Aise is your average girl who believes in ghosts, and your young nerdy boy called Ken Takuyura believes in aliens. Wanting to stand up to bullies picking on Ken, she decides to help and just sit next to him, and it just fends off these bullies somehow. I don't know how bullying world works, is weird, but anywho, seeing an opportunity, Ken decides to talk to her and actually strike up a conversation with her. They start to have a nice conversation and things get a bit heated when they both start to have their beliefs sort of colliding. Ken doesn't believe in ghosts and Ayase doesn't believe in aliens. In an attempt to disprove each other, they both go to different sites in the same night. Ken going to a ghost site and Ayase going to an alien site. They both inevitably either get caught or possessed. Before being tested on, Ayase, whoa, hey now, hey, let's cover those up real quick. Before being tested on, Ayase discovers that she has the powers of telepathy, and Ken is being possessed by a spirit called Turbo Granny. That is the actual name of the spirit. It's actually called Turbo Granny. Combining their powers together, they are able to defeat the aliens and sort of not defeat the ghost inside Ken because he is possessed. After returning to Earth, it seems like Ayase is the only person who can control Ken's powers. They need more professional help from her grandmother. Together, they're gonna have to work out a way to escape this weird, wacky situation, coming of age story that they are in. Every time I read this manga, I feel like it's gonna fall into the same shonen tropes. For example, there is meant to be a training arc for Ken to try harness Turbo Granny, but they completely skip over that. Things that you think you see, you don't see. You believe that there's going to be a main villain. I don't want to spoil too much, but this guy looks like a main villain to you, but isn't. He just is a kid. It's hard to explain without spoiling, so I won't spoil it, but
hey, you shut your face!
It's just two worlds that are colliding against each other, and our characters just happen to find themselves in the middle of it. There are like insane powers, aliens trying to do things with their penises. There are testicles missing. There is literally, I am not kidding when I say there are actual testicles missing. It's such a ridiculous manga, and I really want to see this animated because I want to see how this entire thing turns out. But yeah, that's enough of my rant about these mangas. I'm glad you guys decided to listen. I'm glad you guys decided, hopefully you take up my recommendations. I actually read these mangas. They are very fun depending on which tickles your fancy. And yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at that. Anyway, I'll see you guys in a bit. Take care.